Hey everyone, welcome back. So today we're diving into a topic that's getting a lot of people talking: council tax rises. I know, it's not the most thrilling topic on the surface, but bear with me here. This could impact your wallet in a big way, especially as we move into next year. So let's break it down, chat about what it all means, and why there's been a bit of a back and forth on this issue. Okay, let's get into it. So here's the scoop: Labour has confirmed that council tax rises are going to be kept at the 5% cap for next year. That means that for the average family, bills could go up by about PS 100. Aha, you heard right, that's a pretty big chunk of change. Now, this decision comes after a bit of back and forth in Parliament, with Prime Minister Keir Starmer and the Conservative leader Kemi Badenoch having a bit of a, let's say, heated exchange on the topic. So what exactly is this 5% cap? Basically, it's a limit on how much local councils can raise council tax rates each year without needing special permissions or, in some cases, a public referendum. The goal here is to prevent massive, unexpected hikes in people's council tax bills, which, let's be real, can be a serious burden for a lot of families. Now, yeah, the government's saying they're going to keep this cap in place, but there's still a lot of debate on what that means for people financially. Let's rewind a bit to what happened in Parliament. So Starmer, the Labour leader, was asked directly about this issue by Kemi Badenoch during Prime Minister's questions. She was like, "Hey, are you going to stick with this cap on council tax?" And Starmer, well, he didn't exactly give a straight answer at first. He sort of dodged it, saying that MPs would know what the arrangements are soon. Sounds a bit like a classic political sidestep, right? A few hours later, though, the press secretary stepped in to clarify, or at least try to. She said, "The threshold remains the same, meaning, yeah, we're looking at a 5% cap. So that's where things stand as of now, but the fact that Starmer was a bit cagey about it has led to some questions." Okay, so why does this matter? If council tax does go up by 5%, we're talking about a rise that's nearly 3 times higher than the current inflation rate. Right now, inflation is at 1.7%, the lowest it's been since 2021. So while other costs might be stabilizing, council tax isn't following that trend. And for people who are just getting by, that can be tough. Just think about it: the average Band D council tax rate in England for 2024-2425 is projected to be about PS 2,171. So if we're adding another 5%, we're looking at around a PS 100 increase for the average household, give or take. And if you're in one of those higher council tax bands, like Band H, which is the most expensive, you could be looking at an extra PS 217. That's quite a jump. I see how this could be a serious point of frustration for a lot of people. And of course, with local councils already in tight financial situations, it's a tricky balancing act. On one hand, councils need money to keep running essential services, but on the other hand, people don't want their bills going up more than they already have. Now, according to the Conservatives, the government has outlined a projected increase in local government funding. They're saying core spending power, or CSP, for local governments should go from PS 64.7 billion in 2024-25 to around PS 68.4 billion in 2025-26. And this is a big, but the Conservatives are also pointing out that this isn't necessarily enough new funding to cover the rising demands and costs for councils. So even though the cap on council tax rises is set, local authorities might still struggle to make ends meet. And here's where things get really interesting. The government's been capping council tax increases at about 2.99% for a while now, but they allow councils with social care responsibilities to add another 2%. That means councils can hike taxes by up to 5% without any extra permissions, but if they want to go beyond that, they'd need a green light from the government or, in some cases, a local referendum. Now, obviously nobody wants to go to a referendum over council tax, so most councils stick within that cap. So yeah, things aren't looking super optimistic for local councils right now. A recent survey from the Local Government Association found that 1 in 4 councils is likely to need emergency financial support in the next 2 years to avoid bankruptcy. This gives us a pretty clear picture of just how tight things are. So it seems like a 5% increase in council taxes is almost inevitable for a lot of areas. Okay, let's recap because there's a lot going on here. Labour's decision to keep the council tax cap at 5% means that, in theory, people's bills won't go through the roof, but this increase is still pretty significant compared to inflation. And with councils under more financial strain, they might have no choice but to push for that full 5% increase to keep services running. So yeah, it's definitely a situation to keep an eye on, especially if you're budgeting and trying to plan for next year. Alright, that's a wrap for today. Let me know what you think about this. Are you worried about these council tax hikes? Drop a comment below if you have thoughts, questions, or anything you want to add to the conversation. And if you found this helpful, don't forget to like and subscribe for more updates on important issues that impact all of us. Thanks for tuning in, and I'll see you next time.